From the home of the Widener Pride, this is WidenerPride.com as we continue our series of preseason interviews for the 2014 fall season. I am joined by our first-year women's soccer coach, Todd Warasek. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, Coach, you walk into a great situation where last year's team finished 14-3-3, school records with 12 shutouts, 11-game winning streak, 12-game unbeaten streak, a 6-game shutout streak, and tied the school record with 9 home wins. One of the players bringing back is your center back, Steph Dickinson, who was honorable mention all-conference last year. Talk about her, how she's looked in preseason, and what she means to the team.
Well, you're putting a lot of heat on me right out of the gate here. The indication of living up to that standard of last year's performance from this team, and obviously it was a commendable year for them, and I think one for the archives for them that's very good. I mean, those situations are always hard to replicate, and I kind of correlate my presence here now. It's like opening a new mystery novel, and there's excitement with unfolds in the first chapter, and you have new personnel and new pieces come in, and the person who's scripting the show is a little bit different. So I'm very excited to be part of the team right now, and we're off to a pretty good start. I've been very impressed with the resolve of the group. Coming in this year compared to last year, we lost a lot of quality players to graduation last year. Very dynamic players. One of the key pieces that came back in terms of production in the attack is Jenna Pedrick, who did very well for them last year and was off to a great start this year. I've been impressed. You mentioned Steph Dickinson in the back. I mean, for me, in my assessing her early on, she's a very well-rounded player. She's very composed, playing out of the back, and she's a player who I think really has pretty good awareness for, understands the game and how things are going. So she's going to be pivotal to, showing some leadership skills in the back for us there to trying to guide some of the younger players, because we have an influx of what I feel to be a pretty good class of talented players. Half of those players are tagged as defenders. There may be some flexibility there. Certainly we need to complement that, and right now that's my number one priority is to get a good back four in place, that we understand the dynamics of what I'm trying to create here in terms of imprinting our brand and how we're going to play a little bit. So she's been quite stellar in the preseason. She's very resilient. It's obviously challenging, physically and mentally in the preseason period, and she's shown a lot of leadership ability there to keep things moving along and keeping people on track in what we're doing. So I think we've been very fortunate with our health up to this point. We're in day 4 of preseason, and with the demands of that, and usually you incur little nicks here and there. We've had some misfortune along the way up to this point, but that's part of the landscape.
You look at 2 players that are back, Olivia Pouts, who's the top returning goalie. How is she looking in practice? And also Nicole Fascini, who saw her season cut short after 1 game last year due to injury. How they look, and what do you expect from them this year?
Well, right now, addressing the goalkeeper situation first, I think we have a fantastic situation here. We're very fortunate. I feel very fortunate to have the services in our coaching staff of someone who I think the world of, in Jillian Loudon. She just concluded her season with Sky Blue, and they went on a run. They won their last 5 games. They were just a little bit short of playoffs, but she's a very prominent player and an exceptional teacher of the goalkeeper position. And moreover, her presence is so dynamic in how she presents things. And so, in the first 4 days that we've been here, she has been in here with her assistant, Maria, who has done a fantastic job well. So we have really, on occasion, sometimes we have 2 goalkeeper coaches here coaching 2 goalkeepers, and Ashley Rundle and Olivia Fowles. So, right now, I think it's for them. It's kind of like reworking your golf swing a little bit, because there, some habits there that need to be changed. So I think it's been a very good learning experience for both of them, and I think it's a very healthy, competitive race right now for who's going to win that number 1 spot between both of those. They both have their strengths and both have some things they need to work on. But I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing in the daily progress and just little things that are changing in terms of their posture and their dynamic and their footwork and how they're doing things. And that can be unnerving, I think, for keepers. Sometimes they're accustomed to just playing in a certain way, and then you have someone with a pedigree of Jillian that comes in and breaks things down and to do things in a certain way. So I'm really, and not only am I excited about it, I think the rest of the team, to have a presence of someone who's been in and out of the national team of that prominence to help this program is just fantastic.
Taking over a team with so many good players returning, and obviously you brought in a lot of good players along the way. What are your overall expectations you're looking at for your first season here?
Well, I think whenever there's a change, you have to assess your personnel first before you establish a style, really. And for me, optimally, I like to establish a style that is enjoyable for the players to play, and everyone's involved in the attack and everyone's involved defensively. That we can build a little bit and put a little flair on the game, that it's enjoyable for them playing, enjoyable to watch, and is pleasing to the eye, and something that we can sustain and build off, moving forward. My expectations from the players right now is that they're open to a learning environment. They come to training every day with the correct attitude and how they can apply that to the machinations of what we do in training every day and what they're doing. Up to this point, I've been very impressed with that. There's no lack of desire there. There's no lack of work out of the group as a whole. They're experiencing extreme fatigue right now, which is normal. But breaking those thresholds is very big. And my expectation is for them to keep building foundation on a daily basis and some of the positive things we're doing. So I want to compete. I want to be competitive. We have some very difficult opponents on the schedule this year. The conference on our side is quite tough in what we're doing. I think it's we don't have a whole lot of time to prepare, given the restraints of what we have. But I'm encouraged by what I see right now. I don't right now, pragmatically, I don't think we're going to be a deep side in terms of 18, 20 deep. And in terms of equal talent, but I'm very comfortable in saying that our first 11, I think, if they're fit enough to sustain things, and we bring some of these younger players along over the course of the season, that we could be a tough out as it gets down the stretch.
Well, the season starts for the women's soccer squad on August 30th at Swarthmore, and the home opener is September 6th against Washington College of Maryland. We thank women's soccer coach Todd Warsek for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
And we thank you for your support of Widener University Athletics.